So I wanted to give a quick check-in on something that I learned recently in my own setup: the right way to manage an XLR to RCA cabling connection. There's a variety of reasons in home theater gear that you might need to make an XLR to RCA style connection. In my case, I'm demoing the Trinoff Altitude 16, which only has XLR audio outputs, but I'm connecting it to two REL subwoofers that only have RCA inputs. In this case, I have to cable XLR to RCA to make this connection and complete my home theater setup. I hadn't thought much of it and stuck to my regular go-to cabling source with Monoprice and picked up a couple of Premier Series XLR to RCA cables to match the other Premier XLR interconnects already in my setup from my preamp to my amplifier. The key here though in this statement is from the Monoprice product page, and I'll quote, "This cable uses the standard pinout with pins 1 and 3 of the XLR connector wired to the shield of the RCA plug and pin 2 of the XLR connector wired to the tip of the RCA plug." This is apparently based on a recent question asked in the AV Rant podcast. Fine for some audio applications like a microphone, but it's not ideal for home theater gear connectivity. XLR has 2 signal lines and 1 ground, whereas RCA is a single signal line and a ground. Grounding the second signal line actually though puts electrical stress on the components in use versus having that pin left floating unconnected. And while generally speaking your equipment should be safe in such a connection, it's one of those things where why would you risk stress on your expensive AV gear when there's a simple and better way that really doesn't even cost much extra. So the right way then? Emotiva makes an XLR to RCA mini interconnector that electrically manages the lines the right way. From the Emotiva product page, and I quote, "When connecting a balanced output to an unbalanced input on modern audio gear, the proper way to do so is to connect the non-inverted output on the balanced output to the unbalanced input and leave the inverted output unconnected. Many adapter cables designed primarily for use with microphones short the unused output pin to ground. While most equipment, including ours meaning Emotiva, will tolerate this without damage, it's not recommended and may unnecessarily stress the output circuitry on your processor or preamp. This adapter, bingo, was specifically designed to work optimally on modern balanced audio gear and leaves the unused output line unconnected. So $8 to electrically connect your gear the proper and safe way, it's a no-brainer. So I'll be returning the Monoprice cables and re-replacing them in my setup with these Emotiva XLR to RCA couplers that just arrived a few days ago. Easy, simple, safe, and cheap. If only more things in life and electronics were so easy. So there you go. If you have a need for XLR to RCA connections, maybe consider using these couplers. Thanks for watching, and please click away on those subs, likes, and notifications to help the channel. Bye.